All right, everyone. Welcome back. This is the Week 6 prediction video. On TikTok, this will be part 1. YouTube, it'll all be one part, so get ready for it. I'm very excited for this week of matchups. The league, as you can see, is in a really interesting spot. A lot of teams at the top can kind of basically solidify a playoff spot, and the 3 teams at the bottom are really make or break this week. Going 1-5. They'll be essentially out of the playoffs and purely just fighting to stay alive, which they probably already kind of are. But anyway, yeah. Thursday Night Football tonight. NFC Beast rivalry game. Going to be fun. Got home. Reagan was asleep, so I was like, let's just make the video. Let's do it. And I will be starting off just hopping into the matchups. I got to figure out who I want. Let's do it. All right, not to dox Rob here, but I called my shot on O'Marion Hampton and totally forgot to put it in last week's video. September 23rd, Rob sent a nice little O'Marion Hampton gloating video. Season-ending injury loading. No way, he's a youngin', Rob says. And I sarcastically said, yeah, young guys never get hurt. Ball nowhere. Like I said, sorry to dox you, Rob, but that was too funny to not include. And it's a main talking point because you're now starting Sean Tucker, who I believe is the Bucs' third-string running back, who is now the second-string running back while Bucky's hurt. Tough to see. Very, very tough to see. And it's a bad week for it. You got a tough week against Rag here. Rag is a slight favorite. I think he's projected 123, somewhere around that last time I checked, which is like a top 3 projection this week. Rag's had that happen to him a lot, where that's happened and he still lost. But let's just kind of look. Rag has Jettas and Stroud out, so Stafford is getting plugged in. Diggs is getting plugged in. Diggs was probably going to get plugged in either way, but now he has to also play Keenan instead of Jettas. And on Rob's side, obviously O'Marion Hampton's hurt. And Schultz is on bye week. So Colston Loveland, who I think is back officially, will be getting the start, which will be interesting to see. Rob also has officially... Oh, he is still officially starting BTJ. Tough choice with Godwin. I think I like the BTJ pick. Who knows, though? I think those are both scary options. Trotting out Loveland and Sean Tucker this week is a little scary, and you're not starting Romo, you coward. So I will be picking Rag here. While I do like Jonathan Taylor a lot, I do like Pickens a lot. I like what Rag's working with here this week. I think Tet and Javonte in this game have the potential to score a lot of points against each other. I think Kamara, as long as he plays, will at least get Rag double digits. Stafford against the Baltimore defense, coming off a brutal loss, coming off 10 days of rest. I love Stafford. I think he should have started Stafford regardless of whether Stroud was going to be hurt, or Stroud was on bye or not. And I like McBride. I think McBride is due. If Kyler isn't going to play, I think whoever the fuck his backup is, backups, rookies, and kind of the older starters kind of rely on their tight ends more. So I think Trey McBride is a good start, and I'm kind of speaking in lawyer voice right now. I think that's because it's still like 4:30, so I'm still kind of in the work mindset, and I'm trying not to be too loud to let Reagan sleep, so just enjoy it. I'm picking Rag here. Sorry, Rob. Just buys and injuries. That's all I can say. All right. This is an ugly one. Ish, 2-3 versus Sutton, 1-4. Holy shit, Ish is a big favorite here. It's essentially a must-win for Sutton as he's sitting at 1-4, and he's not going to win. There's no world. Terry is not going to play. He hasn't practiced. He hasn't practiced in weeks, actually. And they pretty much said today that he's trending towards not playing. I don't think him or Noah Brown's going to play. We might get Cosby back on Thursday, but who knows? Yeah, I think Sutton back against the wall is going to fail. I think he's going to lose the Ish. Ladd finally got a touchdown, but he still has not been great. Rashid Shaheed is boom or bust, but even his boom is going to be like 12 points. Obviously, Saquon will play well, but otherwise, just nothing fun going on there. Ish, on the other hand, Kyler is trending towards not playing. I don't remember who Ish has on his bench, but I'm sure he can pick up somebody who's just as good as Bo Nix. Gibbs will be awesome. Kyron Williams against Baltimore. Same thing I said about Stafford. He's got 10 days rest. He's going to be frustrated because of how he choked that game away last week. And he's going up against the worst defense in the league right now. So I think he's going to be good. Also, you'll see in these videos, I'll probably call 3 to 4 teams the worst defense in the league over the course of this video. Just roll with it. They're all the worst. It's fine. JSN, not going against the worst defense in the league. The Jags' defense has been insane. He is bringing back Njoku and Swift into his lineup, who I both like, especially Swift. I think he might have an okay day against the Commies. What else? He did pick up and is starting the Cowboys defense, who is ranked 31st overall this year in fantasy points. That is a choice for sure. I don't really know why you're doing that. Like, I know our waivers aren't great, but there are more options than the 31st worst. I guess maybe they're going against Carolina. Who knows? Anyway, Thursday Night Football will decide this. If Saquon has generational night and the Eagles defense plays great, then Sutton might have an outside shot, but there's really no chance, and I need to text him and tell him to set his lineup. All right, next game is Clay versus Hayden. Hayden, since you text about the trade on October 1st, not only did you not respond to the trade or my text, you never even read my text because you have read receipts on. So today, I sent you the Hail Mary clip in honor of Bears Hate Week. So I guess I'll never text you again. I guess it's fine. It's whatever. You don't have to read it. It's okay. Anyway, your fantasy team still fucking sucks, by the way. This team is god awful. It's a 1-4 versus 1-4, so it is truly a win or go home for these guys. Both these guys better be rooting for Sutton to lose, because at least if they lose, that means someone else is still a 1 win. A lot of question marks in this matchup here. Warren seems to be back, but he was iffy last week, and they ruled him out at the last second. Purdy, turf toe, not optimistic about him playing, but who knows. Bucky's still out, so it's Carter-Warren season. If Warren ends up not playing for some reason, although he looks fine now, it would probably be Haskins. Dowdle for Clay loses so much value if Chuba ends up playing, and it looks like he's trending towards that. Bowers was a late scratch last week, so they might do that again, which is scary. Worthy was banged up last week for Hayden. Clay, you got to get rid of the Ravens defense, dude. They're playing the Rams this week too. If you end up starting them, that is borderline a hate crime. And I might have to little commish power and set your lineup for you. That's so bad. With all that being said, and all the shit I gave to Hayden, I'm picking an upset. I'm picking Hayden this week. Why? I don't know. I don't need to know why. Does Hayden have the better team? Nope. Does Hayden have the better matchups? Nope. But fuck it. I got a good feeling. You never know. Cooper Kupp game, perhaps. Calvin Ridley? Who knows? I think Clay has the advantage at basically every single position, especially if Worthy doesn't play. But like I said, fuck it. We're picking Hayden to go to 2 wins, and we're picking Clay to fall down the ladder again. I think the heartbreak against me last year was the catalyst to an even worse slide. Let's go, Hayden. I got your back this week until Monday, and then I will motherfuck you all the way down the street as I walk into whatever the fuck they're calling FedEx Field these days. All right, we only got through 3 of them in part 1, so we're going to do 4 of them here in part 2. Starting off, Scott versus Briggs, 5-0 versus 4-1. Huge game here. If Briggs can somehow win this and pull himself up to 5-1, he'll probably take over first place. And both these guys will be set pretty well. But if Scott wins, he basically ensures himself a playoff spot, and he sends Briggs back down to the pack with the rest of us who have 2 losses. It's a real juggernaut game, and Scott is a pretty big favorite. Briggs has Addison on bye. Scott has Woody Marks on bye, but he plug in Drake London like he clearly has. I think they both got new defenses for this week going up against each other. So honestly, that would be really funny if that game just turned into a shootout. Let's see. Scott has Fergie against Carolina, which I really like. And he has Achane against the Chargers, who just got gashed by the Commies running game. And as much as I like Bill, Achane is better than Bill. So it's scary. I'm just not seeing a lot of juice from Thomas's team this week. There's a lot of solid shit going on here. Not a lot of juice, if you know what I mean. Hurts will get him in between 18 and 20, which I think he's done every week. Chase Brown, Bengals players, better with Flacco, worse with Flacco. I don't know. We're going to have to see. Sharp's going against probably the best defense in the league, at least one of them. Amon-Ra will be great, but Marvin Harrison's up and down. J-Mo's been horrendous this year. And Tucker Kraft is nice. But on this side, it's just a lot more. Devontae against Baltimore's defense, ass. I think Geno's fighting for his life. The Tennessee defense is not great. Love it. Fergie against Carolina, I already talked about it. I like Scott's team here. They're not the best team in the league, I don't think, but you can't argue with winning fucking games. So here we are. I'm taking them to win and go 6-0. Get after it, Scott. All right, here's another one. Another big game here. We got 2-3 Maish versus 4-1 Makosi, auto draft boy. 4-1. It's a good team. Maish is by far the highest projection this week. I think it's like 135. His team's looking good. Even if Tua doesn't play, I'm sure you can find another quarterback projected 15 or 16. But yeah, projection 135 is insane for a 14-man league, especially only one flex. No real buys or injuries here, other than Nico on bye for Makosi. Burrow and Rice, respectively, for each team are still out, obviously. So Makosi's been kind of downgraded to start Dontavian Wicks, which sucks. Wicks, whatever. So yeah, I'm picking Kyle here. I don't think this is a crazy pick. I think Chuba is still questionable. I'm not sure. I haven't checked up since yesterday when he seemed kind of doubtful. And I don't like the Wicks play, but who knows. So I'm going with Maish. Jacobs against Cincinnati. If you see someone playing against Cincinnati or Baltimore, you got to play him. White was awesome last week. He took back over the RB1 slot, no issue. Another person playing it. So we got the best fantasy player this year playing against the worst defense. And then we got one of the best running backs playing against the worst defense. It's Maish. It was never not Maish here. I like Maish's team a lot. I love Judkins. I love Laporta. I love Puka. I love Jacobs. My team was Tua for president at one point. The only person I don't like on Maish's team is Michael Pittman. No real reason I don't like him. It's just, I don't know, just some prejudice. I don't know. Whatever. I'm going Maish here. All right, next matchup, second to last matchup, is Brett at 2-3 versus Cal at 3-2. The Cinco Magic has kept his team with a winning record. He had Bill on his bench last week, but obviously Bill is now starting, especially since I think Chicago has either the worst or the second worst run defense in the league. And right now we have the best run offense in the league. So on paper, we should ground and pound a lot on Monday night. No pause. But we'll probably fuck it up in some way. Let's see. These teams, obviously, as badly as I don't want to pick him, I will be picking Cal here. Brett is a huge underdog here, just no fault of his own, just the state of his team in general. This is what happens when you don't draft any running backs, and then when the running backs you do draft either get hurt or on bye, you start having to start Kenny Gainwell and Isaiah Davis, both of whom are not starters on their own team. He's also starting Aaron Rodgers against the best defense in the league, and Kenny Gainwell against the best defense in the league. One of the best defenses in the league. Flowers is questionable. I don't think Lamar is going to play either, so you can't really expect too much out of him. I do like Waddle. Waddle's been awesome. Tonges has been awesome. Mooney's not great. Conley's defense is not a good start. So, yeah, obviously I'm going Cal here. He gets Bijan back in the lineup. Danny Dimes has been very solid. Kenneth Walker is pretty much 8 to 12 points consistently. Igbuka has been fucking fantastic. Tucker is not a good start, but this is what I've been saying for a couple weeks now. Cal needs to figure out a wide receiver too, and if he does, then this team is a real contender. Until then, you can't be starting Trey Tucker, especially with how fucking dog shit Geno has looked. Yeah, Cal's loading up for another score 100 to 110 and win by 25 game here, so this feels pretty sweat-free. So I'm going Cal. Hopefully, it's pretty easy, and I get another win for my predictions. Brett, you need your boys back. You need CD back. There's a lot of people that you need Lamar back. It's just tough sledding out here for Brett. Very tough. And finally, we're ending it with Ford versus Pushan. Pushan commented on my last TikTok. Oh, I got a job. Oh, I'm the real commissioner. Oh, okay, pussy, do the punishment then. Pushan always has some sort of bullshit to spout at me instead of just doing the very easy punishment that we set up before last season. He's going to get fucking booted from the league eventually if he doesn't talk to us and doesn't do the goddamn punishment. Fuck. Got me worked up. Anyway, Pushan's only real positional advantage here, I think, is at tight end, where Tyler Warren over Harold Fannin is about a 1 point difference in projection. He might be, I don't know. I think Jennings is officially out. Otherwise, he'd have Jennings in over Josh Downs, I'd assume. The real question on Pushan's team is what the fuck's going on with Derrick Henry. Obviously, the Ravens are banged up. Offensive line's not great. But he's still Derrick Henry, or at least he was for like the first game of the season. Now maybe he's fallen off. Pushan got really unlucky. Derrick Henry fell off. A.J. Brown has been just horrendous. There's no other real way to describe it. And tonight, they're probably going to be up on the Giants early, and so they're probably just going to ground and pound it a lot, especially since they got away from that last week. But maybe A.J. Brown threw so many hissy fits in the locker room that they have to force feed him to keep him happy. Who knows? I've said it every week. Pushan's team is very okay, but very not inspiring. My team is looking solid this week. Not great, but very above average solid. I love Allen and Cook Monday night against Atlanta. I won't even have to watch it or stress about it at all because I'll be inside of you at FedEx Field / Northwest Stadium / whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter because we're getting a new stadium. But I'll be there. I think these two, angry about how shitty they looked last week, going to play Atlanta, I think they dominate. I think J.K. Dobbins against the Jets. Jets is another one of those 3 to 4 teams that I'm going to say have the worst defense in the league. I like ETN as well. I think he had a good game last week. If he finds the end zone, then we're saying he had a very solid game. So I think ETN is going to give me 8 to 12 and then 12 to 20, depending on if he gets a touchdown. Devonta Smith, who knows? Harold Fannin is fine. I am interested in watching the Bengals game this weekend because Joe Flacco is going to be an interesting wrinkle that I'm excited to watch. So I'm picking myself here. Fuck you, Pushan. It was always the real commish. And yeah, here's my official predictions for the week. I hope everyone that I picked wins and is happy in everything they do in life. And I hope everyone that I picked against fails at everything and hates themselves very, very much. With that being said, I hope all the fellas enjoy watching football tonight and this weekend. And I will see you guys on Tuesday for the recap. It will most likely be a very hungover Tuesday recap coming off Monday Night Football. See you guys then.